I noticed a trend that started in the 60s, but that is mushrooming now and bringing fruition that the engineers and the architects of that maneuver really are delighted with the results. That is, men now are trying to be beautiful, women now are trying to be macho. And I'm saying, like, I think they've had this thing before in some ancient societies, and people realize that, oops, that don't work, and they come back to the things that we had inherited with the traditional manhood and traditional womanhood, feminine and masculine. They're different and so on, and they have certain over time. Women wearing dresses as opposed to men wearing pants. There was a reason for that. You know, Women got to take care of some things real quick, and it's a big job that to unloose that belt and unzip and then buttons and all that stuff. You know what I mean? It's like they just raise that up and they take care of business and they move. You know what I mean? So I mean, anyway. But in the 60s, I'm not sure when they started the concept or when it happened, but they had a thing called unisex, which is trying to blur the difference between femininity and masculinity. They tried to blur it since then. They had pants that men and women could wear, and so on. A lot of women weren't wearing pants. No, they brought it on, and women wearing more pants. And I'm sure it's a problem. A lot of them have accidents because of that. But you don't hear about it and so on. The period of time, I'm not sure if a pant's going to work. It's going to be rubbing against, that situation down there, and it's going to be a problem. And so they started doing hairstyles, and it wasn't really. Sometimes you have to say it doesn't matter a woman, and it used to be a problem, and it led nowhere. Men, I mean, I think there are some. Okay, look, men now doing earring. A long time, women alone used to wear earring. You had some crazy men and some criminals that used to do that too, made it look like the pirates and whatever. But you don't do in irreversible, fashionable things like putting tattoo over your body, piercing your ears, piercing your nose, because those things may not be able to be reversed. And trends change. Suppose now the trend turns back to having a clean body. All those tattooed bodies are gonna have to die off, and you can't change it back. Or if men now stop wearing earring, see fellas still wear a hole in the ears, you can't solve that except maybe plastic surgery. And so it has its setback, and this is the problem. I don't want to go into gay, lesbian, and bisexual and transsexual and all that stuff. I don't want to go there. But you see, if you, and I also remember women were saying that I like a man that is so tender and so nice, very strong, busybody, rough men. We don't want that. We don't need a nice, tender, nice, quiet, nice little man. And then I seen it where when the guy becomes just what she wants, she don't want that again. She wants a ruffian. So what she can do is pick up a guy at the street corner that is a Rasta man and that kind of like don't even care, crude and everything, to go and knock the body up with a little bit, and then come back to this little wimpsy man that she made. Okay, or he's deep down her heart, she loathes him, she scorns him, she hates him because he's just a wimp. All right, but she made him that. Okay, he wasn't smart enough to realize and say, lady, listen, I'm not gonna change and be no wimp. I'm gonna be just who I am, because when you find yourself in a problem and you have a big tiger in the yard or a snake in the yard, you don't want me to go there, and no wimp can go there. So you better just don't worry about it. And men were telling women, y'all don't even know anything about sports. Y'all don't even know anything about basketball or football. Because you see, the women know that when these guys gonna play match out in the field and they get their arse knocked up and tore up, then there's come home to some woman crying, oh, limping, oh God, you don't know, girl, oh, I can't bang with you tonight because I'm feeling all these knee pains and all that stuff, the knock of the knee, you know what I mean, and all that kind of stuff. But now they got the women in it, and all women are talking big times about wrestling and sports. They know more about some of these sports than men do. All right, and so the bottom line though is this: that today it's going to be a problem. Yeah, it's going to be a problem because when men are caring about the nails and they don't want it to be dirty and they're putting a white thing inside to make it look clean and everything else, and they even doing the eyelash now and the eyebrow, they're going to somebody and trimming it to make it look nice and everything sexy and everything and putting it on the king. I remember on some of these talk shows, this woman will have her husband. She say he always watching his face in the mirror. Every time he passes with some glass, you want to see his face out look. Men will just get up, just wash the face, just don't put on no nothing, just plain gone out there. Women got to take the time, put on the makeup, do the lipstick, do all the stuff to keep looking sexy and beautiful because, even that same man, if she don't look good, this and that, the whole 9 yards. But now men are doing the same, it's just them put on lipstick yet, okay? And some are wearing dress and all that stuff. Even some are wearing panties and so forth. But the deal is that this change, I think, is so bizarre because when a guy is concerned about his appearance, I recall just the other day there was some women in the police and they were in a line going towards the protesters. And as soon as the action started, women start pulling back because they don't want the face to get tore up or damaged or anything like that, or the breast to get hurt. See, so when a guy is taking care of his nails and his appearance, then I mean, what is guy gonna be useful for? If something's wrong with the car, he can't fix it because he doesn't want to dirty his nails. I mean, I'm not a girls need your hand to be clean when you're gonna get down there and get in that gyration, that sort of tremors, right? But beyond that, I mean, even if it's one day stay away and clean it real good so you can make sure that she gets her tremors, that's something else. But I'm talking about, to fix the car tire. Oh, I don't want my nails to get dirty. And oh, I need some money. I can't buy you the dress or can't take care of them kids' books. I got to go and do my looks, my toes and my hands and manicure and pedicure and all this kind of stupidness, a facelift and all that kind of stuff. Man, I mean, this world is getting so vain. So that who's going to do these rough, tough, dirty jobs? And then the women now want to lift weights and they want to be looking strong. So when they're walking, you can see them trying to develop that muscle above the knee, and they're looking fit and everything else, and they're saying, "Yeah, I'm top of the world." But they wanted to run every day and so on, and have that job out there. I mean, I remember traditionally women, because of the cycles that they go through, they don't feel peak at the top of the day every day, and there's a certain time it's predictable, just before the period or just after, whenever, I don't know. They don't feel well. They want to sleep a little longer. They want to feel bad during the day. They lie down and sleep. But when they have that job in the office, they can't lie down and sleep and do all that kind of stuff. And then the PMS come in because the period is going to be a problem. Some of them even cut out the uterus so they won't get pregnant. They could be out there running with the dogs, running with the men all the time. But still, that time that they would have seen the period, it is some indication coming on. I mean, it's so mixed up, man. These people are coming up with some policies and some strategies that mixing folks up. And when these women do this bodybuilding and they want to show they have ribbed midsection, all that stuff. I mean, would she want to have babies so that, when women make babies, the muscles get extended and all that stuff. And will a tough intestine be easily stretched or whatever during development of the baby? I mean, things. This world is so mixed up now. I just don't know what to say. But the enemy is laughing because we hurting ourselves big times. And I hope though that individuals will let common sense prevail because. I mean, we look at the Middle East and we call them wild men. I mean, the Bible says they're wild and nobody can be able to tame them, and so they can be indomitable, right? But they have gone through these cycles that we're going through, and they've concluded that women can stay out of politics, women even voting, even drive. Now we tell them that women go to drive, but they've gone through that. They've seen that when you have women so busy, and women as the king and all that stuff, the family suffers, and nobody else could do that job that they could do. They make the babies. They're the ones that could do the job. I mean, you have now home mom and Mr. Mom and all this stuff. Women working for at home and cooking. I know in Oakland, California, this guy, I don't know his arrangement, but I see him all the time at home. Put on a bandana, and now he's feeling like he's a girl. and he's behaving kind of funny and all this stuff. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know why we're doing these kind of stuff. But I do know because the time is almost at an end, and the devil wants to bring on some chaos and some hurting that we can't imagine. You know, the Bible says that women will even cook their kids. Like in Israel, when they were sieged by the Romans, they started eating the kids. Um, Women going to be unmotherly, and you can understand that she made the baby. She did this. She went through all these months of strain and all that. She went through the pressure making the baby. She'd be the one to love the baby. Oh no, we see they're killing them, drowning them, driving the car overboard with them, and so on. You just can't orient women differently and expect that they're gonna be able to function. Perhaps people thinking in terms of maybe women are inherently, or they have this innate ability to operate a certain way. But we can discover one day that they have to be trained. Yes, they have the equipment to make the babies and everything else, but they have to be trained. I see in Puerto Rico, I saw in two different occasions in the restaurant, the family had this young girl and they had a doll. And then the next one, she had a stroller from perambulator. And I hope this trend is increasing because I'm seeing that women now are learning they're doing skateboarding on the street, they're doing daredevil stunts, they're boxing, they're doing some strange stuff, and these things would necessarily make them better moms and better wives. Because some of these things are going to put them against the men. When they are martial arts experts and they could shoot real good and they could box real good, they want to try that to the men, but you know what? You hit a woman across her head a couple of times, all this boxing, all this kung fu, she knows, and go through the window, she get on that phone and say, police, I need your help right now. My husband just almost killed me. You know what I mean? Why do we have to go through that? Can't we just sit down and figure it out and say, you know what, it's better we train? Because, see, a woman, and I'm not advocating that women should not have careers. My daughter, I sent her to college and she has an education. She has a bachelor's and she could take care of business and whatever. And what she decides to do in her life, that's her problem. No, I'm done with that. Okay. So I'm not against women developing all that. But the point is this, though, that some women will eventually say at the end of life, yeah, I have this big education, this big career. I felt that I needed to have these kids to feel fulfilled, whatever. Maybe some people say when they have the kids, they're more fulfilled than when they graduate with a medical degree or the law degree or whatever. I don't know. But they had the kids and had all this big career and everything else. And these kids went astray. And they became criminals. Some of them become substance abusers. And so all the money they were making, the kids were selling the stuff, taking the money and going to smoke it up. They have to go and bail them out. They have to get big attorneys, and eventually at the end of the career, all they have is $500. And she said, but you know what? My husband had a reasonable job. We only had to cut back certain things. And if everybody had cut back, then house pricing would have been different and car price would be different, okay? And she had spent some more time with those kids. The husband, she could have taken care of him better because he doesn't know how to take care of himself in certain ways, right? Nutrition, he doesn't know anything but that. He doesn't know about eating. He doesn't know where to wear and what a lot of things. He just knows to go out and play a beast out and get some money for the family, okay? And so they say, you know what, my husband could have, when I come home, I'm not tired and not stressing him out. Both of us tired and all that stuff. I could have been here to, kiss up on him and make him feel refreshed for the next day. The kids, I could have been here to receive them when they come from school, give them the lunch, watch over them, make sure they don't go with the wrong crowd, make sure these girls don't get pregnant early, these boys don't get some girls pregnant early. They could have gone on and had careers, and then I wouldn't have had to worry about them after, and then I would have been able to save a lot because I have to pay babysitting, all these kind of expenses and so forth, taking up all that I work for and even some that the husband's working for. You know what I mean? It's like some way, somehow we got to reevaluate things. And so this macho women and feminine men, it's a bad sign. And I hope that we could, recover from this kind of maneuver that we're making.